All right, good afternoon and welcome to our channel. So, the thumbnail shows that housing authorities around America may no longer act with impunity. And as you may have noticed, I weaponized a lot of your cases in our last video when we discussed the toolbox for understanding policies, procedures, federal code. So, I want you to get out your purse or your change purse or your wallet because we're going to drop some dimes today. Okay, for those of you old enough to understand, I want you to go to the bank, get your roll of dimes because we're gonna drop the fucking dime about 100 times in this video because we've got employees again around the U.S. Many of which are bad at waste, fraud, misconduct, harassment, retaliation, and so we're dropping the dime party all the way through Christmas. I can think of nothing that pleases me more. And I'm going to give you some inside information because a lot of the circumstances that involve people that utilize public housing vouchers, and federal housing programs, a lot of these people are already victims, but yet have been re-victimized by people again that are acting like they're organized. They're running an organized crime almost. Now, I want to make clear that this video is not an attempt to teach anyone how to go mess up the life of an employee of the housing authority that operates under policy inappropriately. Okay, and this video is not here to help you mete out your personal justice, but I think it's time that I show you what a lot of our office has done over 25 years in terms of dealing with rogue actors and PHA employees that think that they think they answer to nobody. And so, first up, let's get these links going. Okay, so get ready to do some copy paste. We're going to put these links in the bottom of the description. I'm sure this will be a popular video because a lot of you are pretty fed up over how calls I receive or to deal with bad employees and housing authorities. Okay, so let's put these links up real quick. There's three. So we have HUD, we have FHEO, which is fair housing, and we have HUD for discrimination, and OIG for misconduct and fraud. The key player here is OIG, and also DHS and HIS, which is, we all know, other federal agencies with the power to storm the building and arrest everybody. And so, as we look at that thumbnail, that photo of this video, as you clicked on it, that was not so long ago where HUD, DHS, IHS, and the FBI took down NYCHA, the largest housing authority in America. Now, if we're able to put their ass and 70 of their employees in prison, don't think there's any exemptions in the U.S. Okay? Whether you run Lacia in Los Angeles, none of you. That proves the case in point there. Here's some facts for you. I think that our office has been involved in more court cases and filings, and I can tell you statistically speaking that if OIG, HUD, or FHEO gets on an average of 15 to 30 reports, 30 individuals, 15 to 30, it will engage an investigation. More often than not, 15. For many of you that live in properties where you're just being dealt with badly by your PHA, it's time to organize. 15, that's the minimum number you're going to need to get, okay? But let's talk about filing reports. For many of you that have a problem and you meet the merits and requirements of the federal law to file with FHEO, OIG, DHS, IHS, or even the FBI, depending on the circumstances, let me advise you, don't call, okay? Calling is one thing. You need to file, okay? And one way to do that is for many of you, I would advise if you're organizing a couple of people that are all suffering from the same problem with the PHA, that you all write out sworn statements, that you get tracking number So you have legitimacy of filing, and I would make what's even better for those of you, spend about $20, go to LegalShield.com, and they'll cut a demand letter directly from their legal office there, the lawyer's office, and then you can get separate letters for each person involved in the incident. And so what happens is you're ramming this through, but that's not the magic touch that really lights this on fire. What really lights it on fire and it gives motivation to FHEO, HUD, and others at OIG is doing this one simple thing that I learned. Remember, part of my career was testing theory. How long do I need to take and put my boot on the housing authority's neck before I hear a soft snap, before they quit breathing? How much pressure do you need to apply before the building burst in flames? I learned that there's two forms of public pressure. There's the court of a public opinion, and then, of course, that of reporting it to federal agencies. The magic cherry, really, that would break it most of this was called what you should notably write down, a media packet. For as little as $100, $150, you could open a media packet, make your story hit every newspaper, magazine, and news station in the tri-state area. That court of public opinion will create more jet fuel than you could ever dream of. So when you add jet fuel on top of the cake, you burn it down. When you add jet fuel on top of the housing authority, you burn it down, because then they haven't any choice. So for as little as 15 reports organized and filed, OIG, FHEO, HUD, a media pack, about $150, push it through legalese. And I call legalese using a law firm to write you a demand letter. And why I suggested Legal Shield is not because I favor the company or they pay me or anything like that. It's because most demand letters will run you around $700, $800 through most law firms. And Legal Shield lets you sign up for a month, and they'll write you 3 demand letters for $20 or $30, whatever their current price is. So it's a very easy way to do this and make it a matter of record. And then while you have now got an investigation open, you lit the building on fire, you want to get out your hammer and your nails and nail them in the building. Don't let them out. Let them burn alive. And what I mean by that is go ahead and file a case at your local jurisdiction for small claims. So indenture them through cost, because the real goal here is not to win money at the court or video court for small claims. What you're wanting to do is get an administrative judge to make a decision favorably to you. And why would you want to do that? Because 98% of the time, the housing authority, when ordered to court, doesn't go. They won't even go. They think it's a joke. And so you end up in a default, whether you made up a magical story or not. They don't even show up to find out. Therefore, you get defaulted. And then guess what? The most amazing part, now that you have dealt with the housing authority, you lit them on fire, you nailed them in there, they're burning alive, they didn't show up for court, got a default judgment. Now, in about 90 days, you can call the U.S. Marshal's office to seize everything with a fucking cord in the building for judgment when they fail to pay. Everything with a cord, everything of monetary value, empty the building. Okay? So it's a 4-step plan. And it has happened more than you can imagine. And last year, we reported on roughly, I think, 16 different housing authorities, all of which operated with impunity. Nobody's going to do nothing. We're going to run our mouth. We're going to continue to run like a scam and organized criminals. And they thought they could run that scam, but they were just like Madoff. Sometimes your pants get a little too big for you, and then you go to prison. So what happens when they get addressed in a federal investigation? Well, they get detained up to 48 hours. They get charged and indicted. And then they get what I most quaintly call Section 9. And I don't mean subsidized housing either. I mean Section 9. 3 hots and a cot in a federal prison. People fed up. If you accept federal dollars, if you open a housing authority and you're going to accept federal dollars, that means you're accepting the Code of Federal Regulations, its rules and policies. And for you to go on to mismanage, misorganize, harass, retaliate, violate people's Fourth Amendment, Well, one day you're going to do it to somebody that's a haymaker. This is the type of person that you don't mess with the wrong one, because they're not going to stop. They're going to stop when they file with all three federal agencies, when they file with the court. You're going to meet one of those, and then you're going to go down. And sadly, if you are, and you're not even, the house they won't even know how many times that investigation was open. But when that magic number comes up in the computer, you could even, in many cases, get the state attorney general's office involved, depending on the level of fraud and accusation of part of those people. So it's all about knowing the point of pressure. Doing this as long as I have, it averages between 15 and 30 reports, and many of you could achieve that easily with building with 100 people in there. You're going around and you don't tell people what you're doing, but you find out if their sentiments are the same. And then from there, if you got somebody ready to do some talking, you run the parallel of being able to get all that set up. The media packet, I guarantee you, with the way the news is, we only like negative news these days, so they love shit like this. And if you're going to build out a case and you've got a group of people, tenants that have all received the same maltreatment, put grandma in the wheelchair with cancer. Make sure she's at the top of the list as the complainant, because the news loves to pick that up. You're only playing by the same shitty rules the housing authority does already. But I do want to make clear there are many housing authorities that do operate ethically, and they train their employees and are well educated and operate within the parameters and bounds of federal law and HUD's policies. Okay, so don't use this methodology on bad people just because you got a hair up your ass. Okay, we all get them sometimes. You know how you want to. You got the wrong order at McDonald's. You want to go back and take care of business through that drive-through window. This is not part of that, okay? So let's talk about reporting. One thing I can tell you is about 90% of you get it wrong. You go on to some long dialogue. Look, reporting evidence should work as such. One, everything that you're discussing on paperwork, you need to remove all your emotions and opinions. Nobody cares about that. And if anything, it'll only prove the housing authority's case that somehow you are mentally unstable. So you don't want to talk about how you hate Sally, how you can't stand the way the woman talks, okay? It should be based on strict merit and fact. Those facts should lead up to proving one of those five things: fraud, misuse, abuse, discrimination, or retaliation. It should not be, well, last week she came over and wrote me up for a potted plant, okay? Don't ruin your case by trying to solve and hash every problem you have. Focus on the things that you can prove. You need date, time, and when prevalent, a witness or two that can attest to the fact. Remove all the emotional tones, any profanities, and stick to facts of what happened. She came over, she beat on my door, I opened the door, she started running her mouth. So instead of saying running at your mouth, what precisely did she say? How did you feel threatened? What did you do after that? Imagine yourself sitting on the stand in the court. They don't want to hear your opinions. They want to hear what actually factually happened. And anytime you get caught in any circumstance when you're dealing with PHA or its employees, don't get on phones. That's not really a good evidentiary record. You want to make sure your correspondence is always in writing or text. Don't get on that telephone, because look, nobody knows what you're talking about. Nobody's recording, and even to record anybody's voice, most states don't permit that without permission. So you need to force them into a very thin channel where you can actually get a record of everything being said, and you need to materialize your own personal record. And when you're doing that and you're taking notes, 103, this is what happened. This is how I emotionally felt. Now I'm going to have to go see the $400 psychiatrist. And this has happened 16 times. Thus, I don't have any other choice, because now that I've had a mental breakdown, I'm going to have to seek an award of about $30,000 to cover that. And because I sat on the toilet and thought about this, and when I was in the shower and my mind kept running, and when I didn't sleep the whole night, that was approximately 11 hours at a value of about $35 an hour. So I'll need money for that. Because I drove my car to get coffee to think about this problem, I now need $2 a mile plus $35 an hour and consulting fees. And so therefore, the rest that I was put under, approaches around $150,000. You can see the notes here. I wrote 103, 608. I lost 7 hours when I couldn't sleep thinking about this. So I was making money while I was sleeping. Keep a record of all that because that's the value of the case. And look, if you got a free clinic in town that'll take $5, that's fine. But as far as you're concerned, pain and suffering and all those visits and times, there's slide clinics, man, that give you $5. You can sit there and shoot the breeze for about an hour about how the house door is doing you bad. All that they're going to have to pay for. And I don't mean $5 either. Okay. Everything, every thought, that process goes into thinking and the rest. And so that's why it's important you guys keep a material record of days and times, remove profanities, do not write your life story. We understand the housing authority. There was a problem. They retaliated. Nobody gives a damn about you writing 30,000. You're writing a whole novel. Stop doing that. You're going to prove that you have a psychiatric problem and they're not going to take the case seriously. You need to be able to demonstrate your case and possibly 5 paragraphs or maybe 2 pages. Plus, you may attach a material record of record keeping of how these things played out. Okay. Record keeping means short notes, not when you sit down because you had your schizophrenic pill today and you decide you're going to write a 16-hour marathon talking about all the bullshit you can come up with. That don't work. You're going to get impatience from the federal investigators, and they're going to refer you to a psychiatric facility because they're not going to believe shit you're saying. You guys have got to shorten all that stuff. Many have contacted me. We had to shave 99% out. Okay, they need to be able to make a quick and effective decision whether your case is worth anything, whether or not they can investigate. They can't do that if you start writing at 2:00 in the morning and don't finish till Friday. Okay, that's mental health taking over. So I'm trying to help you guys that suffer from mental health issues that force you into long writing sessions. It seems like you ought to be a millionaire. You could sit on Fiverr and you could write and make millions of dollars as much as you guys like to write. For those that don't have mental health issues that force them into 20-hour writing sessions of thoughts and dreams and life plans, then be concise in what you're saying. I know that may be difficult, but that's the way you're going to want to approach this. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to give some more links and we're going to talk a bit. And again, I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody with a disability, learning disability, or otherwise. I'm just being genuine with you. Okay. I'm saying what most people are not going to tell you. And that would be stop the bullshit. Okay. Stop the bullshit long enough for you to be able to get through your case. You have good days, you have bad days. If you're having a psychiatric moment, wait till you're not. Don't get in that notebook with Crayola and go wacky, okay? Nobody wants to read that shit. Lots of you guys email my office. It would take me 40 hours to read the shit that was written there. And I think to myself, this woman she could have wrote a novel that would have been a AAA. But instead, we're in Section 8 housing and we're writing novels and we're not charging anybody. And then you email it to me in my email. I'm watching gigabytes fly out the window. It's like, oh my God. Just to scroll through this, I'll have to clock in. I'll be done reading around noon. I ain't got time for that. Okay, so I'm just being upfront with you. You guys got to stop doing that. So those are the linkages down there for HUD OIG. It looks like I didn't get the other ones in there. Let me try the other 2 again. All right, I got them all that time. Good. Well, I see what's happening. It looks like they're consolidating part of what I'm typing out to you guys. But all right, so moving on back down there. Peace out, bad boys. What you going to do when the HUD comes for you? You drop a dime. Oh, peace out. Actually, that was you that said that. Drop a dime. All right, so Vulcan says, Belcher, when I graduated from HUD and BASH program in 2010, I was going to reach 13 years of being 100% substance-free, clean, and sober. I've seen scams going on. Well, you're going to continue to see them. Look, HUD, half the time, HUD, OIG, and FHEO doesn't even catch this stuff until maybe 2 or 3 years after it, okay? Many of you feel that you'll lose your voucher. That's why I don't want you filing things and filing complaints directly with housing authorities. You need to go directly to the feds with this. Sometimes you need the court of public opinions, and sometimes you need to bring a poor judge to be able to get a reasonable judgment on this. Housing authorities are not federal employees. They're not protected in any way. They do not have immunity. And half the time, they do a poor job of even defending themselves legally. So, but you guys think you think they've got a magic wand. They don't. You know how many times people have sued them and won? Okay. So look, they're not as much as you think they are. Silver Fox, good evening, Jay. Good afternoon to you. Urban 3 claps. Well, I appreciate that. We're doing a clap along. Vulcan goes on to say, I've endured some of the worst harassment and unfair treatment imaginable. That's not unsurprising. When you open a housing authority and you fill the building with people from Craigslist that are either, they're moonlighting as a hooker at night and then they're working as a caseworker during the day. They haven't even got their GD out the bubblegum machine. They turn them into a caseworker. Their total totality of their training is reading about 11 pages and a printout manual, and then they're put in charge of 800 people's lives, and they're angry and pissed off because they only make $6.25 an hour. Did you expect much different? So it's like walking into the DMV. The personalities are very, very close to what you see when you walk in Walmart. How many people shop at Walmart these days? And every time you see an employee, they just look pissed off and just mad about life. Okay, imagine that. That's a lot of what I see through many of the housing authorities, but there are many more with good employees that have good personalities. But tougher the city, the tougher the PHA. But we've already established that being a PHA, you're not going to get away with impunity. And by the way, the city of New York itself owned NYCHA. They didn't get excluded just because the city owned it. They bit the dust and they got wrapped up in handcuffs, regardless of the city managing it. Okay. So do not believe just because your county housing authority is owned or any way operated by the city that they somehow have immunity. They don't. The feds will storm and arrest the police there. Okay. They don't give a shit about that. Anybody objects, you'll eat concrete. And they treat them like any other criminal. And so I think in total last year, we saw probably over 100 arrests. And again, about 16 housing authorities were taken down. Many of them are now have been indicted, and many more are sitting with chains around their ankle waiting to go and see the federal prison. They're going to be taking a tour. So they'll be receiving their own voucher, Section 9. It's going to be nice for them over there. They'll probably meet some of the people they denied and talk shit to. So don't drop the soap, baby doll, because, you should have thought about your attitude before you went and fucked over everybody in your town. Now you're going to prison. You're going to meet some of those people. A lot of people that have been on Section 8 in prison, it's not a great idea to be a former housing authority employee accused of fraud, mismanagement, and then you're receiving a free federal subsidy to be in prison. And you're hoping for what? A clap along in there? A sing along? You're going to get a beat down, baby doll, and you can't leave. So you might as well just rewind to VCR and get another one beat down because ain't nobody wants you there. You're not welcome anywhere. You might as well pack your shit and move out the country when you get on parole. Moving back from there, Sandy. Good afternoon. I live in my brother's house. Can I get help with rent or not? Well, is that an ultimatum? Are you issuing me an ultimatum in my channel that I somehow need to answer you? Because I'll put your ass out of here, Sandy. But if you're asking, please, would you take your free time in this video and advise you? Then the answer would be fuck no. I'm not going to do shit for you. You come back to me when you can run your mouth correctly. Moving on. Beverly Sanders. My home has a ton of black mold on the ceiling, and I had 5 rooms checked, and they all come with some sort of mold in them. When I got my housing inspection, the inspector said that he doesn't have anything. I would advise first going and get a professional test for mold, or get a company that does remediation to do the testing for you, and make sure you got clear testing results, and then just skip right past the housing authority. Go directly to the court system for it. For about $50 or a percentage of the judgment, take it to small claims court and let a judge determine whether or not they've screwed you over. Okay. You may also want to file a city report with the city, whether they decide whether you're not. Tests don't lie. But if you're going to buy a mold testing kit off Temu, then you just roasted your whole case. Okay. So you need a real one. Moving on from there, urban nonprofits run PHAs in this town. Well, that tells you it's a pyramid scam altogether. The city of county are separately run. This is how the city is county property. Look, all dogs have their day. You know, it's just a matter of how many people report it before it goes badly. Warrior uh, says, "Hello, Jay, Catman." Yep, I'm the Catman. I'm not the cat lady. I'm the Catman. I'm the guy that rescues people from the street, and I rescue cats. Yes, I very much like that. And so I'm sorry that I have the microphone nearly at the eye level here. So I'm clearly not operating properly with the microphone almost in my lungs, but hopefully you guys can hear me. I've lowered the microphone so you can see my big head, right? Sandy, no, I love you. I knew that, so I was just picking on the girl. Christy Lund, I got it. Christy, thank you, Jay. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Urban says, wow. I'm glad you're wild. It's good to be wild. Very nice. I'm the dog lady. You know what? I know this channel's filled with a bunch of crazy cat people and dog people, bird people. So a big part of my channel is I don't care about professionalism anymore. You know, I'm up for retirement after 25 years. So that's the first clue you're going to get. Two, always involve a whole lot of my own personal life in my videos. We need genuine, okay? We don't need little Barbie dolls on YouTube that do hair, lipstick, and wear their little tennis shoes in here. They're penny loafers and speaking monotone. People tired of that shit, man. Just get real. This channel's about being real. I can deliver the same level through my company as genuine as I could, sitting there pretending to be from Eyewitness News. Okay, if you want that shit, dislike all the videos before you leave. Go down the list, dislike several times. Use all your email accounts. Continue to dislike. Okay, spend tomorrow reporting the channel. Hit as many times as you can, and then after that, unfucking subscribe and leave. Okay, I don't want disingenuous people here. I spent too much of my life trying to support and help communities and get people through some of the biggest messes of their life and keep them off the street. What I'm not going to do is be here to be an entertainer. There are lots of people that pretend to be consultants on YouTube. They're all over, man. You got little boys and girls, man. One day they're experts at fidget spinners. Today they're a master consultant. They've got a PhD and being a Section 8 consultant, but yet they cannot even tell you a single federal code or title. Okay, it's like little rodeo. These are the same children you see at children's. They operate during the day at Chuck E. Cheese as a party clown, and tonight they're going to be a consultant on YouTube. Every single channel I've seen on YouTube outside of mine, every one of them are fake. These are not consultants whatsoever. They're just Barbie dolls with lips just flapping along. And you know what? My channel's been here 15 years, so they copy the ever living shit out of what I do. So when you can't be what you are, you just invent shit and then copy everybody else. That's YouTube for you. You know, so I don't know what they're going to do when I leave. They're not going to have anything to talk about. I mean, I literally have people that copy everything I do. Imagine that. I mean, what if you lived your life that way? Oh my God, she's wearing a dress, but I'm a man. But hey, I've got to copy everything. I guess I'll pop a dress on and pretend to be Nancy. You know, so there's no original thoughts left. So back to the facts here, guys. OIG, FHEO, and HUD. So many might even argue, oh, well, Jay, I did that and I didn't get shit. You know, I filed and I talked to the people. They didn't do nothing for me. Because you didn't do what I just told you to do in this video. You went and did what you wanted to do, or you thought that you understood how it worked. Look, when you help clients file roughly 1,000, 2,000 of these, over time you learn what works, what doesn't. Most of you think you apply empathy and sympathy in your storyline, first of all, okay? And the hope that you're going to pull on the heartstrings of these people. They don't give a shit about that. What they care about is whether or not they're violating the law. You guys are going about this all wrong, and it's not working. And many of you are writing complete novels. Nobody's got time to read all that horse shit, okay? If you've got a problem and they violated the federal codes, then you need to name them in your letter and keep it concise. If you're over one page, then you're running the risk of them discovering you might have a psychiatric problem because you cannot shut the fuck up. You're writing too much stuff. Let's be real here. I know a lot of you guys suffer from different problems in the head, and I'm okay with that. Tone it down, man. I've had to call client, look, man, you've gone off the rail again. It is pill call, time to pop a pill, babe doll. We cannot do it this way. You know, you're sending me 160 documents. At one point in my career, I almost started charging people $5 a document because certain types of mental health issues, for some reason, get people into record keeping And now, they would be really horrible for the National Archives. You could make $55 an hour, but instead they're doing this. And so sometimes you could actually use your mental illness to go make great money, but not this way. Okay. I don't want to visit the psych ward. I mean, shit, I've got enough problems between cats pissing and shitting on the floor. Do you think I want to deal with yours too? No. So tone it down, focus on the things that I'm telling you. If you've got a learning disability and you can only listen for 5 minutes before your attention span blows out the window, pause the video, twirl around the house. Okay. When you're done twirling, come back, listen to 5 more minutes. Just pause and start, pause and start. If you got to tear your clothes off, run naked around the pool, go do that. Then when you calm down, get you a fresh pair of panties, come back, see me. Okay. Don't do that while you're dealing with me. I don't want to do that. That's part of the problem I'm seeing with trolls in the channel. I think that we have some psychological problems going on as well. It's not just trolling. It's people sitting in the basement of mommy's house with mommy's flip phone, and they're just going to town on the internet. They ain't left that basement since 62. You got to stop, honey. That you're going to ruin your life. All right, moving on down Muskogee land. You wouldn't believe what I'm going through to switch everything from Oklahoma to New Mexico. These people do not play. Of course not. The first thing you want to do when you initiate portability from one housing authority to another is just drown that person in paperwork. Then, if you really want to if you know they're almost at the snapping point, what do you tell them to do? Think about it carefully, guys. What do? You know they're on the teetering edge before they say F it, right? Housing authorities are experts are bringing you right to that point where you say F it. So they see you teetering. You hear that. When they hear that a little bit of a tone change in your voice, they know they've got you. And and so they'll tell you to call back later, and they won't answer that phone. Anybody love that answering machine? At the sound of the beep, please leave a message. It beeps very quickly. You get 2 words in, and boop, sorry, mailbox full. Bitch snaps. House is on fire. People getting attacked. That's it. Last straw. We've all been there. If you don't think I have been tricked out of my own home, you're crazy. I've had long work days. I get up in the middle of the night, cat done pissed on the floor. I do almost a banana split, catch a toe on the coffee table, about rip it off. Blood pressure flies to the head. Next thing you know, I'm raging in this fucking thing. At 3 a.m, light bulbs are popping, cats are flying, So we all have life. We all have to just get real with ourselves. If you can catch your toe on the table without doing things like that, then you really have a psychiatric problem. Because no normal fucking person is going to catch and almost rip their toe off and then deal with that diplomatically and just pray for themselves. Oh, Lord Jesus, touch my toe. No, you're not doing that, okay? So don't play. That's how you know when a person's really crazy. Catch a toe on the table and they stop and pray for their toe. Something's really off about that person. All right, moving on down. Meechy Beach, mess up my question. Sorry, that's all right. Come on back. That keyboard's still working. But if you're on your mother's flip phone, please don't. I don't want to hear the shit today, please. Angela Carswell. Gracie came to visit. That's my 26-year-old cat. She's meowing real loud right now. She don't want me on this computer right now. Come on, Grace. Come here, girl. Let's see if we can get Grandma Gracie over here. I'll never once in all my career in 15 years been able to get her in this video. Today may be the day. Come on, Grace. Come on, baby. Pussy pop. Come on. Come on around. Gracie. Well, come on. Well, maybe not. She's sitting in front of the desk. She gets quite upset. When you're that old in cat years, 7 times 26, she's about 150 in human years. Cats become highly upset when you even leave for a few hours. You're pretty much their entire world. She doesn't move around much. She's damn near blind at this point. And so when I even leave to go to the grocery store 4 hours, you think you have broken the core of her soul. So we have to be careful that we manage how we deal with people and our animals, right? If you have a heart. So anyways, moving on down there. Urban, message retracted. Urban goes on to get another message retracted. Look, if you're going to if you're cursing me out or saying something dirty, It's 1-800 fuck off. That's what you call. I'll bill about $5 an hour. You can talk to me badly. Okay. We can get along great that way. So 1-800, you know what, right? Give that a ring and we'll solve all your problems. I think I'm open that 1-800. You catch your toe on the table and you need to let it out. 1-800, call Jay. You talk to me dirty, curse a little bit, all right? And I'll help you out. I'll calm you down, my deep boys. Oh, here she comes. Grandma Gracie. Give me a minute. Hey, baby. Yeah. Come here. She saw me reach down and she took a, she rolled off for a minute. She doesn't like to be picked up because she's about 20 pounds. We have talked about Slim Pass, and she told me to go beat my feet on the sidewalk. She wasn't doing no damn diet. Oh, God, yeah. So it was like the vet. The vet tried to get all profesh with me. You need to put your cat on diet. Honey, she's 26. I'm lucky she doesn't deflate my eyeball with her claw when I bring up diets. You think a person with all these cats, I can just simply sit around all day and run a damn soup kitchen in here, that I can just separate all the food and water? And Gracie couldn't care less. You know, some days I might pop by KFC. I go in the kitchen, do something. Next thing I know, the bitch done rolled up the bed with a chicken leg. So she's under the bed munching on the chicken leg. She likes fried chicken. I don't feed my cats table food, but look, it ain't the first time I found a large pizza under my bed. We're serious business. We ain't messing around in my house. Cats are brutal. They're like little thugs. They're like the housing authority. They just steal shit. And then I got to go fish the pizza out. And then I'm sitting there thinking about the 5-second rule. How do I get sand and doo-doo out my pizza long enough to eat it? So I got to shake it all, dust to get the Swiffer out, Swiffer the bottom of my pizza, you know, and then sit there and wonder, am I going to get some kind of mouth disease, trench mouth, from eating pizza off the floor because Grandma Gracie went in there and she carjacked me? So bringing it on back, I thought I'd bring a little humor in the end of this because we started out pretty hardcore. Arrest, we had the pitchforks out, gasoline, the Belgers pissed off, report them all, throw them in prison, Section 9, and now we're talking about a carjacking with my fat cat that's 26. Here she is again. Come on, baby. Come on. What you doing, Miss Grace? I'm sure I'm gonna get her because I've got to do this once in my career. Get her. What you doing that, man? Oh. Here's the inglorious Miss Gracie, and she is big. Say hello, Miss Grace. She's got cataracts. You can't see it, but I can when the light hits her eyes. But she's 26 years old, and she's almost 20 pounds. You can see how big she is. I'm already a pretty big boy at almost 300 pounds. I'm getting the claw right now. Ooh. So there you go. We finally meet Grandma Gracie. She said she don't pull on her dress, okay? She ain't trying to hear it right now. So y'all met my oldest cat. All right, moving on down. So Marvelous Jesus, thank you for the clap in the hand. Sin City, salute, appreciate dialogue, the truth. Yep, try to. Irving Noah said you're mad funny. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm glad you laughed along with me. Lots of laughs. Carol Sims, Sue, I don't blame her. I would do a diet either. I do the same thing, but I don't want to stroke out in the bed, okay, with a hot dog in my mouth or a pizza. So I'm working on that in December to lose weight. Because I have phobia. I really don't want to be cut out of my mobile home and then pulled out on a forklift, and then that be the career ender, right? Fat guy with a bunch of cats, and I got turds in my hair and everything, and then I'm on Eyewitness News and go out with a flame of glory. You know, I just don't want to do that. So, you know, I got to wear the big Walmart shoes with Velcro because my ass so fat. You gotta. So we're gonna get on that Jenny Craig diet, right? All right, moving on from there. Princess Chocolate, have you ever had her all 26 years? No, I have had her 16 of the 26. She made 26 late summer. She's not the first cat that we've had that's gotten old. I've had two that have made it to almost 22. It's not uncommon. And in fact, the oldest cat I believe on the market it ended up being 36. I think it was 36. So she'd have to go another decade even to qualify as the oldest cat on the planet. Cats can get exceptionally old when you have good diet, good health care. I know that. That's why I don't have a lot left in terms of money. You try having medical insurance on 7, 8, 10 cats at $100 a month. Yeah, it's like a money pit. But I love my Kikis and my Chi-Chis, the boys and the girls. So Beholdeth 26, she's amazing. Yeah, she is. But I don't think a lot of you have seen a lot of it. I don't publish the ugly photos of her, a lot of what you guys see are more manicured. It's day-to-day life with Gracie can be difficult. She gets boo-boo all up in their stuff. She can't clean herself, and she's losing her hair on her back, kind of like when you get older and you got to wear a wig. We might see Grandma Gracie with a wig. She just, that's life. Life happens. You deal with it, All right, Sue, New Jersey. Hello. Miss Gracie's beautiful. Well, thank you. Sue goes on to say, just joking. Muskogee Land, what? You're going in a new direction with your lives, Jay. The F show. I've used more F-bombs on YouTube than probably 13-year-olds. So I feel that I deserve some award. I know that I've made friends and enemies on YouTube and 60,000 plus. And before we get too long away, I have 100,000 subscribers after 28 years of doing this, it seems like. So it's just part of the game, right? What brand of food do you feed Gracie? Well, we in the house keep approximately 6 different foods. We keep 3 wet foods and we keep 2 dry foods, and then we keep 1 or 2 types of treats because my cats are finicky. They're like little 3-year-olds. Also, we tend to run 2 dries and 2 wets because if the food runs low, one of the number one reasons you can mess your cat up, your cats and your pets, you need to make sure their stomach can adjust. A lot of people slam cats on new foods and you completely screw up their dietary system. Okay. So I blend foods to make sure that if we lose out on one, that we can approach the other and they're not going to have serious gastrointestinal problems because all of a sudden I switched off one cat food. Wet, dry foods and also wet help keep their organs moist and don't dry them out as much. Cats don't drink a lot of water, thus they need that. Otherwise, they start going through organ failure. So number one killer of cats. You want your cats to make it in the 15 to 20 range. You need to make sure they have the proper diet, a proper mix of dry and wet. And no, I'm not a veterinarian. You can take my advice for whatever you wish. I think that I've achieved something here if I manage to keep Gracie around. But why do cats really live a long time? Well, as much as I'd love to say it was my good planning, it's just genetics, okay? Just like I'm probably going to go early. Gracie, she's just got good genetics and she keeps kicking, That's God there. God decided she gets the right set of genes and she's still kicking. She may make it to 27 pretty soon. In fact, late summer, she will make 27. And she'll still be there. One day I'll just wake up and she'll pass away between my arm and my side where she normally sleeps. She'll go quietly in the night, but she'll do it without being alone and being treated really well, the way that she would prefer. So there's no love lost there. She gets to go. She gets to leave Earth, leaving a lot of joy and love. And she gets to be there, and I get to be there at the last moments. Can't think of a better way to go. All right, moving on from there. Shannon's crying in tears. In a rough world, laughter is the best medicine. Of course it is. Oh, guess what? We have another Kiki. Anybody else want to have another visitor? Papa, come on. He ain't gonna come. All that booing and howling at the door right now just means he wants me to go open that fucking door. Now he knows we got a hole in the wall in this door back here. He knows he can walk through it anytime, but he sees me here on the video. So to punish me, he's not going to use the hole. We can walk out right now. He's going to sit at the door, annoying the ever-living shit out of me until I get up in a live video and go let his ass out that door. Not use the cat door. This is how you know when your animals are fucking with you. Okay. I'm just telling you. Literally a cat door, 11 feet away. He's going to sit there and boo and boo and boo. And by the way, the boos only start when the microphone comes out. Tell me the cat don't know what it's doing. He's sitting there right now. We're on about the 30th booth. And he'll do it until he sees me rip up from the desk and completely look like I've got a mental problem because I'm tired of hearing the booing. Yeah, he did it again. See, he's pushing. He's testing different tones and levels to see which one will get me to freak out. Told you, this is how we live life around here. We're always just one moment from a psychiatric break. Okay. Y'all remember that video I made when the cat let a wet one and left it in my shoe? Okay. Try that one. You're waking up when eyeballs closed. It's about 1 in the morning. You're getting up to have maybe a sip of milk or water, and the cat leaves a wet boo boo in a flip flop that you don't see. Next thing you know, now, do you think I can do gymnastics? Then why was I doing a banana fucking split at 1 in the morning? Because of wet boo boo in the flip flop. Oh, look who's here. Let me bring you the boo booer. This is who boo booed in the shoe. He smelt me in the shoe and said shit on me. Say hello, Papa. Why you booing over there? Tell the audience why you was booing. Yeah, he's going back to the door. Anyways, I've had fun with you guys. Again, a little bit of the video, the beginning of it was meant to enlighten. The rest of it, really, I just wanted to have a bit of fun with you guys, to be honest with you. These videos, when you make them twice a day, get a little monotonous. But today's really, just trying to expose a little bit of how you could proceed with some legalese to help yourself against some of the PHA. If the conduct's been improper, not following federal code and so on. So you see, I could flip it on and off. But I thought y'all guys would benefit from a little humor. I think we could all use a good dose of that. I save the profanities for Wednesdays and Saturdays. Let me check for the rest of the comments here, guys. Hopefully, I got to see two Kikis in one video. Is very good. So that was one Chi Chi Gracie and one Kiki Pops. Remember, Kikis are the boys. Jojo girl, haha, funny. Thank you. My son lived at 17. She was a tuxedo cat. I miss her. Pretty cool. Carol Sims, they know. I bet they do know, don't they? Okay, that proves it's the rat maze. You got your cats in the rat maze. That, what I argue, was simply the point. You've got a cat door that they can walk out, or they can sit at the door until they get you to do something horrible, say something nasty. That's my cats. You've got to love that. Moving on from there, Susan, New Jersey. I got a gut ache from laughing. I do it all the time. You should see me laugh in the dark by myself. It's not funny. That's my attempt at trying to resolve a psychiatric problem before I kill the cat. Okay, so the cats, when they hear that Joker laugh at about 3 in the morning, that's me trying to contain a disaster in the house, because cats can drive me crazy. Queen Ferrari or Fertari, I'm in love with your cats. Well, they love you back. Hey guys, we do have membership to the channel. It's $1.99. You could buy a Snickers bar, or you can help pay for these cats and all their shampoos and and even Pops. He's sitting down here licking his toes. I hope to meet him one day after I'm gone. I'm gonna ask him about that, man. Did you know you were really licking your toes, bud? Sharon, I was called to the cat lady. I called them and the Three Musketeers, Snoopy, Samson, and Adonis. I like that. Oh, another cat, and I don't recognize the cry. Oh, that's Bunny. Come on, Bunny. Bunny, come on, baby. Come on, Bunny. He's crying real loud. Bunny's my autistic cat with spina bifida, no control over his incontinence, no tail, an arched back, and he is a magical little puppy world. He's about, I would say his mental status is around that of a kitten, around 3 months. He's never been able to operate any higher function. So we have to feed him, and he has lots of neuroticisms, like he can't be around any noise. We have to silence everything in the house. It's a ritual. At night, I'll be watching TV. I hear Bunny, and then I have to kill everything that makes a noise. Otherwise, he will run off in complete terror. So we've been doing this game for 5 years, and people that look on the outside in and go, well, what's wrong with Jay? Why does he all of a sudden just kill all the noise and act like a psycho in his own house? It's easy. I'm trying to help my cats. So we do lots of weird rituals and other things in order to help out with our special kikis. Anyways, what I was going to bring up was our channel has a membership. You don't need to buy anything from me, okay? This is just for fun. We use our membership to help in the care and welfare of cats, okay? Whether they're mine or not. I don't use the line in my pocket. So if you want to contribute in any way or you're thinking about it around the holidays, I don't think our membership's about $1.99. That means $1 of it goes right to YouTube. They cash that check and keep the money. And then after they've taken their half, they give me the loose change. And then that's what I call profit. And then I have to give that to the cat because to buy a case of their food is $38. And I have to do that 3 times a week when you multiply it by the number of cats. So you see, I'm running an expensive soup kitchen. Bunny guarantees it. Did you know for the first 3 years that cat would only let me eat deli meat? I regretted that deeply. Man, oh man, you go down to HEB and you see them hams. Now, you can't even feed yourself that way, and the cat would chew through probably 200 pounds of ham over that 3 years. I couldn't get him off of it, and he simply had too many learning and other disabilities of the mind to get him off the ham. So we ended up having to switch foods, which pushed him off. And now we're back on the trail of a new food, and we're kind of stuck in a rut with that again. But at least he's not eating all that salt anymore. But when you've got somebody that's special, I had an option. He either starved to death or we tried to find something that would stick to him, man. I didn't want him to die. Just to keep that little cat alive the first year was about $6,000. The vet preferred we just take a needle about that long with the materials they put in it. And without even sedating that little kitten, they wanted me to stick a needle right through his heart and kill him on the spot. Okay, I was unaware that's how they put down kittens. I wouldn't allow it. I lost all grip of reality in the vet's office, got banned from being there because when they told me what they were going to do, and the fact that their face reflected that there was a lack of any material emotion upset me so deeply that I had to wait for the police to come to the vet's office. So I didn't want to prevent me from killing the vet. When we start making decisions to arbitrarily kill something without any viable evidence other than its convenience, like we're at the 7-Eleven or the Shell gas station, that invoked something in me that was extremely dark. You're not going to kill my cat. You're not going to kill my cat with a needle. And then you're certainly not going to come back to me and tell me that I should be ethically okay with that. Anybody that has a policy of keeping an animal, whether keeping it or letting it pass away or putting it down, needs to have a material plan in place, right? Does it have quality of life? Does it still enjoy living? If it's hurt, injured, or has a medical problem, can it be healed or fixed? Rule number 2. And number 3, is it in pain? We could not establish any of the 3 for that cat. It had quality of life. It showed no clear indication of pain, and it had quality of life. So we had no material cause for putting money down. Here he is today. Yeah, he's a kinky looking cat with no tail and pisses on his legs and everything else and all my clothes. But other than those 2 small setbacks, and he cries like a 3-month-old kitten, he operates at a 3-month-old kitten level. Other than that, we just have a fantastic cat. It's a little weird. I certainly don't see cause to kill him. So here he is. I wonder how that'll play out when we get in the RV and start traveling. Because if he pisses on my couch, we got to figure something out. So that's life for you. That's living life. That's talking about life as it happens, putting your business out on the street. That's what life's about, man. Sharing. This is how we learn together, right? From our mistakes and the things that we learned to not make a mistake on. All right, moving from there, Sue, have you considered getting a PayPal or something to put in place, link save for YouTube? I thought about a system that allows donations, but I believe that YouTube allows it as well. I think it's people are able to do that through a button called emoji or something here on the channel. You'll notice none of my videos, I never ask people to subscribe. I never ask people to join anything. I never tell people to like anything. I'll let people do naturally what they want to do. I've never done that. I'm not going to push people and try to sell them on being here. If you enjoy my channel, you like my cats, and you want to donate inside of our live chats, or you want to become a member to show support, or you believe in whatever it is that I do, or you think I'm a wonderful cat person, then do so. If not, don't worry about it. I'm not going to create 1,000 accounts, but I see the sentiment there. Moving from there, the homeschoolers, awesome content. Well, thank you. That means a lot, and we're hoping for a lot more. Carol Sims, Sue, New Jersey. That may be an adjustment for cats traveling. I've already got a winner on that. Y'all have not met Little Mama yet. Little Mama is the female. She was born to the other cat we have that we no longer have. She passed away. So we have Little Mama, her brother Thomas, and of course my normal crew. And so Little Mama, she rides in a truck. You know what I've been doing? As I drive back on the property, she's always out in the field getting crickets. So I prompt her by opening my truck door, and she hops in the truck, and then we ride a long driveway. She's no longer fearful of riding. So I'm taking all the cats through that experience. So pretty soon we'll be able to travel with an RV, and I will have a carpenter or a metal worker come out and put a cat door literally into the actual door or a part of the trailer itself, because we're going to be traveling across 7 or 8 states, and I'm getting GPS trackers so I can kick my cats out the trailer and I have to go and be worried if they've taken off. My GPS tracker on my phone will know with an approximation of maybe around 10 or 12 square feet, a circle going around, maybe 20 or 30. And so my cats will have the complete freedom. God knows they better not kick that collar off. And I hope there's no wolves or coyotes, right? So we want to keep our cats close on GPS, allow them the freedom. So as we're in between towns, we'll stop out and through the deserts and through the meadows and up in the mountains, experience snow and all the wondrous things that humans love. I think that animals can benefit from that fresh air, clean water, see other wildlife, be up in the mountains and in the foothills and out by the rivers. And if they want to catch a fish out the stream there in Montana, they can do that. Their RV will travel depending on weather. So if it's cold, we'll start heading back south, and if it's part of the warmer season, we'll start heading toward the north. So we'll be up and down east and west coasts, especially with our mountain ranges is the goal. You just wherever the season switches, you switch your route. That's the plan. Now let's just see if that plays out. That provides that we have good drivers in California as I pass through there, that nobody hits the RV, the cats don't vanish, and some other shit doesn't pop off or break down, right? That all politics will operate properly, that we don't have any further inflation. So I'm wishing for a lot, and that all our cats remain alive no matter where we are. So it's going to be a bit of a battle, okay? I'm not a fool. But it's a chance of a lifetime to experience things where I'm too old to do that. And I think it's the best thing for me and my cats, to get a little bit of freedom out there, to not sit in a damn office all the time. If you disagree, let me know. If you agree, then that's wonderful. Otherwise, that's great. Glad to be able to make the video tonight. And I think I'm just going to wrap it up. I've already rambled long enough as I usually do. I always tell you the best part of my videos are the first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes, but all the shit in between is usually filled with things that may not go well at your church. So that being said, I'm going to see the last few comments here, and then we're going to wrap it up. Karen greetings, everyone. Sue, that's great. And Regina, I was on Section 8, fell in a 3-foot hole my landlord had on the property. Besides the electrical problems, was given notice to move 15 years of hell to avoid repairs, lawsuits, was evicted. And Sue says, thank you. And there's one more, Warrior. I agree 100%. Have a great night. So, you guys, happy holidays. We'll see you again. I'm going to post a short video here in about 10 minutes. That's for a different category and group of people that watch short videos. You may not even get a notification part. Other than that, it'll be an open waiting list, and I'll be doing that throughout the week. Otherwise, for you long format, like to hear both really good advice, long-winded advice, join me for the long-winded video. If you like shorts, join me for the late day. That's how it works. All right. So happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you for the short in about 5 or 10 minutes. All right. Bye.